Afternoon guys, how you all doing out there? I hope you're all staying well. So I'm under a promise to show a few saws today, a little bit behind. Ow, I just caught that. Did I touch that chain? That chain's sharp. So, kind of a sad day. The 2100 is off to a new home, shout out Mike. And also one of my amazing solo Rexes is going to Austria. So this is one of my 268 XPs, beautiful saws from Husqvarna, spectacular saws from Husqvarna. Follow on in capacity from the famous 61. So the 61s run a 48mm piston, 34 stroke, and these are only 2mm bigger so run a 50-34. And several guises. So the first ones, I'm not sure the dates actually. The original 266 came in an SE and an SG, slightly different porting. And was that 1980? Was that 81? And then half a dozen years later, might be. I think these are still an 80s saw. It's interesting. Checking the lifespan of some of the Husqvarna saws. Several of them seem to have about a 10-year run. The 61 obviously is exceptional with maybe a 20-odd-year run. And so on paper make, wow, 4.7 horsepower, spectacular. And there's some interesting references for these saws as well, which some very, very prolific sites where they are, used by everybody around the world. They show these as running up to a 32-inch bar, but on the Husqvarna service manual I have, which covers the 61, the 66, the 266 and the 268, it states there from Husqvarna these run up to a 26-inch bar. So 3/8 pitch, 1.5 gauge, and in fact, it's interesting, when you read lots of the service manuals, you end up getting lots of nerdy information like size of the fuel tank, 3/4 of a litre, size of the oil tank, 0.45 litre, particularly if you start remembering the numbers. So, yeah, so I was under promise to show this saw, and she's only been a show saw, just like the 2100. Not taken one disc with this saw, ever. And I took the exhaust off today, just to photograph the piston. So I'm going to have to alter how she's sold now, because the piston's perfect, by the way. The piston is immaculate. It's got the genuine Ghilardoni, the Italian barrel and piston, all beautiful. Flywheel's perfect. The only thing I've ever thought with it is it has a small hole in the exhaust, and because I don't cut, I've never done anything with it, and it doesn't even seem like it blows that much, but it's just how it's hung. And then when I've taken off the muffler, I've noticed the actual face where the gasket sits for the exhaust when it comes out seems to have a ripple in it. The gasket's on there, but so that's unusual. I think perhaps where this came from, perhaps the gentleman ran it before and perhaps it's just eroded and it's just been blowing past it, and then it's, there you go. So it's got a deviation. I photographed it anyway, but the piston's fantastic. So that's why she's going to go up for spares and repair. AV mounts are all excellent. Pull start housing excellent. Has one tiny, the only thing I ever thought with it was just one tiny vein here and this little hole here. So but yep, there's that deviation on the outlet of the exhaust to bear in mind. Now make sure that's off. Compression wise, she's is fantastic. Saw's not been disassembled by me. Piston cylinder, no. Flywheel, no. So the only thing I've taken off, I took off the exhaust just to check the piston today. Not taken off the clutch. No brakes to the brake cover, excellent. It's the brand new correct pull cord, and had a new correct fuel pipe and filter. These tanks, this is a later version. So I think these were, did I even say the dates? I think the original 266s my memory. Sometimes I have the date straight away, and sometimes they kind of come to me. So I think the original 266s were 80, 81. I think these were, I'm just thinking they're 89. I think in fact they're 87, because I have a service bulletin, I think, from 87 or 88. And I think they went to 96 and 97, so nearly a 10-year run. Again, spectacular running machines. Make sure that's okay. Same every time, this engine, just a monster. Oh. Oh. Straight from cold, straight to inverted, will idle, but never cut with. So she's got a brand new full chisel chain, beautiful looking. Also comes with a second full chisel chain, but I've kind of stopped sharpening chains now because it aggravates the tendonitis in my arm so much. I find it easier just to buy a brand new chain, and then so nearly, wow, probably half my collection now just have brand new chains on, just because it's, you just know wherever they go, if somebody decides to use it, they're just going to be ready to go as well. So right, so shout out Dean. I had an amazing delivery from a dear friend the other day. So I've got some ash, some willow, some beech, some hazel, and let's do a cut with the 268. So I'm a little frustrated to find that the exhaust outlet's got a deviation in the aluminium on the head, but you know, once you've seen that, I can't unsee it, so I have to say, but she's been sitting on the shelf and I was oblivious to that. And this hole in the exhaust, everything else on this saw, throttle lock, choke, kill switch, no damage to the flywheel, lovely. But there you go, so notice that today, which doesn't seem to affect its running, and I can't tell if there's any exhaust gas blowing from it, but if it's not a show saw and you're going to put it to work, it might just be amazing just to run it as she is. Okay, let's take a few discs, see how the girl performs. And again, I have a few saws leaving and a few more to advertise because some more Dan arms are arriving. They're a dreadful addiction for me. guys. She's a beautiful cutting machine, and shout out John in Ireland. I think she could definitely be leaned out slightly, just off the top edge. She could be, there's some more to be had there. I haven't cut with her, so yeah, she could definitely be tweaked out. Definitely. But just cutting just beautifully, really heavy ashen, just beautiful. Okay guys, so that's one of my 268s. Have her older brother behind there in the 266, so exactly the same displacement and capacity, just slightly different porting. I think in the early 80s, definitely earlier porting, and not quite so much power on the initial 266. I think they're 4.3 and this is on paper 4.7. Just gorgeous running engines. So there she is then. So hopefully, other than that, other damage on the saw, there's a, if I photograph, there's a baby crack in this corner. Other than that, she looks really, really clean, and like I said, I was really frustrated to excuse me, really frustrated to find that deviation on the actual aluminium outlet, but she doesn't appear to blow, and like I say, that's the first I've seen it today. Also, maybe interesting to mention is that this girl is running on the genuine Husqvarna Aspen equivalent, so this is running the long life fuel. So again, I don't know whether or not, if you run this on conventional, how much it will change the needle settings. You might find it changes it very slightly. That might be, I don't think, more at the low end though, like my experience on my other engines, but just impeccable running. Guys, thanks for watching. That's the impressive 268 XP. So up now for sale as spares or repair, just because, you know, it would not be fair not to mention this deviation on the outlet where the exhaust is. So I don't know whether or not that could be, the gasket is still attached, so perhaps I should have pried that off and checked it, but there you go. The gorgeous 268, guys. Have a few other project saws to show as well. I'm going to try to do it today if the weather holds off. Stay safe. Bye for now.